Last night, under the cover of darkness, an extraordinary meeting took place just outside the nation's capital. Check out these pictures. This is President-elect Obama walking into a dinner party with some of the most prominent conservative columnists in the country. Here's a better shot of his not-so-grand entrance. We'd love to bring you more scoop, but the whole soiree was rather hush-hush, we're told. Everyone sworn to secrecy. Today, Obama did meet with liberal columnists as well. All of this part of his vow to usher in this post-partisan era. But with Tim Geithner's tax troubles, new Republican rumblings about the Wall Street bailout, is this partisan truce going to stand? We're going to put that question now to some of the smartest political observers around our team. Chief National Correspondent John King, our CNN Senior Political Analyst Gloria Borger, and New York Daily News columnist Errol Louis. Welcome, guys. Hi. Gloria, let me start with you. Obama, of course, not the only one reaching out to conservatives. Timothy Geithner has been calling Republican senators apparently one by one to apologize, explain the mistake. He is a key player in the new administration's economic plans. Has this episode set back Obama's plans to turn the things around in the economy as quickly as possible?
I think so, Campbell, probably just temporarily. Everyone assumes that in the end, Tim Geithner is going to get confirmed, but he's calling these Republican senators to apologize about his faulty income taxes rather than lobby them on the economic stimulus plan or the financial bailout plan. So sure, you know, this is a problem for Obama. And of course, these stories sometimes get worse. You know, the Finance Committee has postponed its confirmation. Obama's going to become president without a Treasury Secretary in place. That's a little bit of a problem for him. They think they can get over it, but Geithner's got to get confirmed first.
The problem, though, Errol, that you keep hearing people sort of not able to get their arms around is this is the guy who's going to be in charge of the IRS, and he can't figure out his own taxes.
Yeah, well, it's a significant setback, I think, in the short term. I think, though, in the political context of the situation, I don't know if the Republicans are going to be so eager to be the ones to pull away the punch bowl just as the celebration is starting of this transition from the least popular president to a very popular one, a generational change, the history of the first black president. I don't know if, and you saw some of this in the Hillary Clinton hearings. You know, the Republicans were kind of bending over backwards to be gracious, as is normally the custom at this kind of a transition point. So I don't know who's going to break the spell. It may not be. It may not be as soon as some think.
And John, Errol has a point. I mean, Republicans don't seem to have much of an appetite for challenging Obama's appointments. We saw Senator Lindsey Graham today say that with the economy the way it is, this is no time for gotcha politics. I mean, how long is this détente going to last?
Well, it's a dual track, Campbell. You do have détente when it comes to the appointments for the most part. There will be some Republican opposition to the Treasury Secretary designee, without a doubt, but most Republicans are on board. But you are hearing more emerging Republican disagreements on policy. Jessica Yellen, Dana Bash throughout the day have been talking about Republican opposition on the Hill to the second installment of the bailout plan. So they are beginning to challenge Obama more on policy. So what do you do when you have a speed bump like this? The Geithner nomination distracted him a little bit. You put your best car on the track, which is why Barack Obama is going to go out in the country and campaign, essentially, even though he's the president-elect in Ohio and then in Pennsylvania on Friday, talking about the economy. If his nominees or his team is a bit off message, he's going to try to get the new administration back on it.
Well, Gloria, he's not only hitting the road, but I got to ask you about this too. He's, doing outreach in an unusual way, I thought, with this dinner last night with a number of conservative columnists. What did you make of that?
I think it's smart. I think, Barack Obama, the old adage, you keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Barack Obama believes, I think, in many ways that it's good for him to talk to these columnists, and I think he's smart to do that at the outset. He also met today with some liberal columnists and commentators, but I think this is part of Obama's outreach. I think there's a sense, and it may be overdrawn, that he can convince people of the righteousness of what he believes by just talking to them. That's probably not going to be the case, but there is absolutely no harm and a lot of good in reaching out.
But John, are Republicans feeling any pressure from the base? The leadership may be giving him a bit of a free ride here, but there's got to be some grumbling on the right that the Republican senators are not being a little more aggressive with some of these appointees.
At the grassroots level, Campbell, there without a doubt is. They're calling essentially their own leadership and many of the rank-and-file Republicans cowards and wimps. And They're saying they're afraid to stand up to this new president because of his popularity. I was in an email exchange today with Tony Perkins of the Family Research Council, and he says that he thinks his work, the grassroots activists, the people who are in touch with Christian conservatives and economic conservatives, is going to be a lot harder, especially in the short term, because many of the elected Republicans aren't quite sure this is the moment to stand up to Barack Obama. One of the issues, though, for Republicans is who is their leader right now. John McCain is back in the Senate. Mitch McConnell is the Senate Republican leader. They have leaders in the House of Representatives, but they don't have one leader. They don't have a clear leader, and that is always very hard and very frustrating for the party out of power.
And he's also so personally popular, Campbell. This is, you know, it's hard to oppose him.
And quickly, Errol, you get the last word.
Well, yeah, I think that's absolutely right. This is the beginning of a process. To the extent that the Republicans can find somebody who can put together a coherent strategy, make it stick, appeal to the base, then you'll have a real strong candidate. But they didn't have one during this last presidential campaign, and they don't have one now. All
right, guys. Gloria, Errol, John, many thanks. Got to end it there. Appreciate it. A quick programming reminder, CNN is devoting even more time to politics starting this weekend. Of course, John was just here. Be sure to tune in for this Sunday premiere of John's brand new program, State of the Union. It goes from 9 a.m. Eastern through 1 p.m., 4 hours of news and politics. Washington, of course, gearing up for what could be the biggest celebration in American history. And it all begins Saturday when Barack Obama and Joe Biden embark on an extraordinary whistle-stop train trip to the nation's capital. The journey fraught with symbolism and presents a monumental security challenge as well. Our Tom Foreman is going to give us a special inside look at what to expect. Also had some startling bipartisan noise from the Senate. No, not shouting, but honestly, it's almost worse.
Miss the earth so much. I miss my wife.
What up with that? You're going to find out in just a little bit.